Hello, hello, hello. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I want to welcome you to Heal With Me. Heal With Me is our weekly live support group where we come together and heal our hearts so that we can transform our lives. I am so excited about being here, and I truly believe that if we commit our lives to healing, if we commit our lives to healing, if we commit our lives to this acronym that I talk about, to heal, to be honest, to be enlightened, to be authentic, and to walk in love, we will truly see our lives transform. So I'm just really thankful to be here. I'm thankful for tonight's call. Last week I had to shorten the session some, and just really thankful to be here tonight and to talk to you all a little bit about living life better and how we can live life better, right? I have been really talking to God and being really intentional about being honest with myself. So tonight I want to talk to you guys about, what it means to heal, right? And this healing that we're talking about tonight, it is an acronym for being honest, enlightened, authentic, and walking in love. And so we're going to break this down tonight because one of the things that I've been the heart coach for a while, and I've been working with clients. September 1st, we'll be celebrating our 8 years of Heart Talk and Heal With Me and me doing heart coaching. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is starting this new leg of the journey, offering this new course that we have that's launching on September the 1st, the Hardcubator. Really excited about that. And I just, in preparation, y'all, I just wanted to talk to you tonight about how we can live life better. And how we live life better is we have to heal. So the first thing we think about when we think about the fact that we have to heal, right? We have to heal the H in here. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about a lot. Let me get my thoughts together. Okay. So one of the things that I'll jump right into it and get back to some other things later. But when we talk about living our lives better, we have to heal. So the H in heal stands for honesty. We have to be honest. So when I started coaching and I started this journey of healing for myself, one of the things that I was faced with very early on was the fact that I wasn't telling the truth about how I really feel. I wasn't telling the truth about, what I thought about certain things that were going on in my life. I wasn't telling myself the truth. I wasn't being honest with God about where I was. And so because of that, if I wasn't telling myself the truth, then I wasn't living in an honest way, right? And therefore, a lot of the things that I was experiencing in my life was not sincere. It wasn't sincere to me, right? So when we define honesty is defined, or being honest is defined as free of deceit and untruthfulness, sincere, free of deceit and untruthfulness, sincere, morally correct or virtuous, right? Fairly earned, especially through hard work, honest, free of deceit and untruthfulness, sincere. So one of the things that I learned very early on in this healing process is I have to be willing to tell the truth. I have to be willing to be honest, because one of the things that many people are not willing to do in life when you talk about authentic transformation, when you talk about being able to see your life go from level to level, when you see God do miracles, you see people literally come back from being on their deathbed, you see financial breakthroughs. I've seen restoration in relationships. I've seen some amazing things happen. But most of these things, none of these things took place in my life until I started being honest, right? When I started this healing process, when I started doing hard work, I did not know that I could tell God the truth. I thought that my honesty and my truth was too much for God. I thought that my honesty and my truth would offend God, would make God angry, because I had found in my life that when I was honest before, I made others upset, right? I found that when I was sincere and free of deceit and trying to be truthful, that I would often offend or irritate or agitate those that I was communicating with at that time. So I learned early on that telling the truth can get you in trouble. Being honest can cause you to lose friends, can cause you to lose connection, can cause people to pull away or disconnect from you. So one of the things that I did early on was I wouldn't be honest. If I didn't like something, in certain cases, I would say if I was okay with it, or maybe not say anything, or say that I liked it when I knew that I didn't. Why was that like that? Because I associated honesty with hurt and pain. And so when we talk about you living a better life, when we talk about you actually getting to experience the world on a level that God really has for you, when we start talking about that, one of the first things you have to do is be honest. So one of the things that I do with my clients as they come into my coaching programs, as we work together, I like to do like a triage. Like, I need to know about you. I want to know how you think. I want to know how you have experienced your life, because that informs me on how I can support you moving forward. And one of the things that this process does is it forces everyone to be honest in places that they have grown accustomed to not telling the truth. You know, my mother and I, for a very long time, my mother and I lived a very, we had a very difficult, dysfunctional, toxic relationship for a very long time. And one of the things that we've learned over the years is like, honesty is really the best policy. And so a part of my healing process, especially initiating healing in the relationship with my mother, was I had to tell myself the truth. I had to tell my truth about how I felt about my childhood. I had to tell myself the truth about how I felt about my mother in my adult years. I had to tell the truth about what I thought about myself, what I thought about others. And in telling that truth, it brought out generational revelation. So as I start telling my truth, it started shifting how I interacted with my mother. And so as I went through that relationship, our relationship started to change. It impacted the relationship with my children. It impacted my work relationship, all because I started telling the truth. Another thing I noticed when we talk about being honest is when I speak, it's amazing. Every time I'm speaking to a crowd or working with the client, I always ask, do you journal? And almost always the answer is yes. And then the next question is, well, do you tell the truth when you're journaling? And I always get laughs, or people will look around, because it's like, how do you know I'm not telling the truth in my journal? And so when you think about this, right, a journal or a diary, something that's supposed to be intimate and private to you, but you're not telling the truth in this particular book or in this particular legend, if you will, um, this documentation that you're doing of your own life. You won't tell the truth because you don't want to be judged. You don't want somebody you love to find it and read it and think the wrong thing. And so what I'm telling you is, if you want to live your best life, if you want to pursue your dreams, and if you want to pursue your goals, and you want to pursue your visions and actually achieve them, right? If you want to actually look in the mirror and like who you see, you know, you're going to have to tell the truth. I remember talking to a client of mine, and I just remember we got to a space when we were like around the second or third step in the divine heart transplant process. And I just remember telling her, like, look, I understand you love your mother. I understand you love your father. I understand that you love your family members, but you are not telling yourself the truth surrounding them. And see, a lot of times we don't like to tell the truth because we're trying to protect others. We're trying to protect their image. We want to be respectful. Excuse me. Excuse me. We want to be respectful of others, right? But you also hear the term when people will say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Because the Bible tells us that we overcome him, meaning the enemy, by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. So the words of our testimony are the truth of what has happened for us. When I something tickling my door, y'all. When I started telling myself the truth, when I started writing the truth in my journal and journaling how I really feel, how I really felt about life and how I really felt about things, my life started to transform. When I started to, if I didn't like something, I would tell someone. If I was in a relationship with someone that I didn't feel comfortable and I didn't feel like, excuse me, I don't know what happened. I must have read something and something, excuse me, y'all. If when I started to tell the truth in relationship, if I was in relationship in my marriage, with my kids, with my friends, business associates, if I started telling the truth, or this is how I feel, this is how I'm processing this, I don't like this, or I can't continue on like this in this way. I started doing things like that. I started being able to speak up for myself. Now, don't get me wrong. When my back was up against the wall, or I was angry or upset, yeah, I would let people know how I felt. But when I really started healing and doing that hard work, it wasn't just me defending myself and being honest and truthful. It was more about a way of being, living a more authentic life. So I'm not having to defend myself so much. I have set the atmosphere because I have set the tone for honesty. And I often tell those that I work with and speak to, like, look, you want people to keep it real with you. You want people to be honest with you. You want people to share with you and things of that nature. Then guess what? You need to do that for yourself. You can't expect somebody else to keep it real. You can't expect somebody else to do things for you and like be honest with you and truthful for you, and you're not willing to do that for yourself. So when you think about healing and you think about being honest and what that means, right? If you're going to heal, right? I truly believe that God has some truth for you. And in that truth for you to embrace, that's where you live an authentically transformed life. But you're not going to live an authentic life if you're not willing to tell yourself the truth. Right? If you're still pursuing a career or pursuing a degree because somebody told you 10 or 15 years ago that you would never be anything, you're not telling yourself the truth. You know, if you are in a situation where you're in relationship with somebody. It could be a friend, it could be a life partner, it could be whoever, husband or wife, it could be a child, but you find yourself being very grieved every time you deal with them. You're not telling yourself the truth. There's some honesty, there's some sincerity that you need to have towards yourself. And if you're going to live a better life, if you're going to transform your life, you got to heal. And the first thing you got to do in healing is be honest. Now, I want you to think about your life and think about yourself right now and think about what in my life am I not being honest about? What in my life am I not, what am I not telling the truth about? Is it a career that you're following? You know, is it a situation where you're living someplace you know you shouldn't be living? Are you in a relationship you know you shouldn't be in? Are you eating things that you shouldn't be eating? Are you having conversations that you shouldn't be having? Are you looking at things you shouldn't be looking at? Be honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Are you trying to make yourself like something, want something, and do something that you know deep down inside that is not the thing for you? I want you to think about this. What areas of your life are you possibly being deceitful and untruthful towards yourself? What areas of your life can use some sincerity to come in? Think about that. So we're going to move forward. Now, we talked about we're talking about what it takes to live your best life, right? What it takes to make your life better. And I say you have to heal. So the first part of making your life better, you have to be honest. The second thing, you have to be enlightened. Enlightened is defined as to give someone greater knowledge and understanding about a subject or a situation, to give spiritual knowledge or insight. So when you think about being enlightened, if you're going to live a better life, you have to be honest so that you can be enlightened. And let me tell you why you need to start the process of telling yourself the truth. Because enlightenment deals with obtaining greater knowledge and understanding about a subject or a situation. In this case, the enlightenment is taking in you gaining a greater understanding of yourself and God. Now, as you get a closer relationship of and a better understanding, a greater understanding of yourself and God, the creator of the universe, the one who created you, and his son Jesus, the more you gain this understanding, the more it transforms your life. It's like when you learn things, not when they say knowledge is power, but when you actually activate that knowledge you learn, it's power. But you have to be enlightened. You have to gain that knowledge. For me, the enlightenment took place when I really started reading my Bible. Reading my Bible transformed everything for me. I started reading the book of Proverbs. And up until that point, I knew God mostly through my grandmother and different family members. And I knew that God was real, but I had not really developed this relationship for myself. Like I really hadn't leaned in. I felt like I could call my grandma and my grandma would pray for me, or I could call my grandmother, or, you know, I knew how to pray. I had learned scriptures. My grandmother was the type that would have us quote scriptures on every Sunday morning, and everybody had to have their scriptures. So I knew scriptures, but I wasn't enlightened by the word until I was having to figure it out on my own. When I really started this heart journey, this heart work journey. And so what happened is I started to read in the book of Proverbs. I was in a bad space. I was going through a lot. I was really down, really depressed, really confused. And I needed guidance. I needed instruction. I needed direction. I remember I had a friend at the time, and her mother was a evangelist or a prophet. I'm not sure of her title, but I just know that she was a ordained woman of God in some way. And so I reached out to her for prayer, and I asked her, to pray for me. And she suggested that I read some scriptures. And so I started reading those scriptures. And what happened when I was reading the book of Proverbs, and if this is something that I still do, I don't do it like every single day, but I still do periodically when I'm having my Bible reading time, I'll just go to Proverbs for whatever day of the month, because there are 31 books of Proverbs. So that's what she said. You can read a proverb a day. There's 31 books in the book of Proverbs. So any day of the week, whenever you are reading, just look at the date, whatever day it is, and, read that chapter. And I guess it just so happened, I don't know if that was the strategy I was using at the time, or if I just opened the book, but I started reading Proverbs, and I think it was like chapter 26 or 27 when it started talking about wounds from a friend are better than kisses from an enemy. And it talked about how, beware of like deceitful hearts. People will smile in your face and have deceitful hearts. And I was blown away, because at that moment in my life, I was dealing with that in the relationships that I was in. And so in that season of my life, and so I was reading this word and gaining greater knowledge and understanding about the subject of my life, the subject of Adelai, and gaining greater knowledge about the situations that were going on around me. As I was reading my word, I was being enlightened, and God, the Holy Spirit, was giving me instruction on where to go and what to do and who to interact with and who not to interact with. And I didn't even know that's what was going on at that time. I just knew. I started reading my Bible, and I started feeling better about myself. I gained more clarity in my life, and I started to build and grow this relationship with God. Ooh. So, with that being said, enlightenment is a big part of you living a better life, because all you know is what you know, but you don't know what you don't know that you don't know. I know that might sound confusing, but it's so true. You don't know what you don't know that you don't know. So there's one level of you don't know things, but then there's a whole nother level of things that you don't know. And so what I'm saying to you is, you have to be honest so that you can be enlightened. See, a lot of times we can't be enlightened. When I think about enlightened, I literally think about somebody shining a light into a dark room, shining a light into a dark space, into a dark, for me at the time, shining a light into a dark heart. Ezekiel, well, I'll get to that next. But so enlightenment is this whole idea of, I once was blind, but now I see. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I'm gaining new knowledge and information about this subject myself, this situation, whatever I'm going through. I'm learning more about God and who he is, and how he cares for me and how he loves me. And so all of that is how you're going to live your better life. See, a lot of times people want you to give me, it's like, give me the secret ingredients. Give me the ingredients. Do you know that somebody can give you the ingredients to whatever their secret recipe is? And it does not mean that you're going to create that dish or that thing the way that they did, because there's a technique involved. There's information that needs to be gathered about how to use those ingredients. That's what enlightenment does. Like, I'm not a baker, but I do know that when you're baking certain things, you have to have the butter out at room temperature for X amount of time, so that the flour and the butter can do what it's supposed to do. Certain things you're supposed to knead, and certain things you're supposed to stir. So you can have all the right ingredients, but if you're not enlightened, if you don't have a greater knowledge of how to use those things, then it's not going to work out for you the way you intended. You're not going to get the outcome, the results that you're looking for. So if you're going to live your best life, if you're going to be transformed, you're going to have to be enlightened. So that means you're going to have to put yourself in situ. Excuse me. I don't know what happened when I breathe in. So when we think about enlightenment, I have some, but could you bring me a tissue? When you think about enlightenment, you think about gaining greater knowledge. So when you think about being enlightened, you have to seek knowledge and understanding. You have to still yourself, right? So that you can be enlightened. If you want to live your best life, these are some of the things that you have to really consider. Thank you so much, honey. I don't know what is going on. The devil is a liar. I have not had any sinusy anything. I got on the call and my nose just started getting itchy. I know I'm on to something. Okay, had to get myself together, reset. Now, so what are we talking about? How we live, how do we make our lives better, right? How do we live our best life? So the first thing, we have to heal. The first thing we have to do is be honest. The second thing we have to do is be enlightened. The third thing we have to do is be authentic. Be authentic. Be willing to be authentic. Authentic is defined of undisputed origin, genuine. So honest is it's being free of deceit and untruthfulness, sincere. Authentic is very similar, but it's like the outcome of your honesty and your enlightenment. So when you think about being authentic, you're being real, you're being genuine, you're being reliable, right? Because you're being who you excuse me, who you were called to be. Now, this when I talk about being honest and I talk about being authentic, one of my favorite words that I don't want to scare you off with, but it is such a powerful word, is being vulnerable. And so when we think about being vulnerable, a lot of times people take vulnerability as I am making myself susceptible to something. I am making myself weak. I am giving away and getting rid of all of my defenses. And so what I need you to know is that vulnerability is a strength. Vulnerability to me is when authenticity meets honesty and it takes action. So when you think about being authentic, when you want to live your best life, it is the byproduct of being honest with where you are, being enlightened. So you're gaining more, you're being honest and truthful about how you feel. Then you're enlightened, and now you can live a more authentic life, right? And I'll give you an example of how this worked for me. So I always loved my mother. I have always loved my mother from day one. I always admired my mother. I thought my mother was a very I thought she was just a very strong and beautiful and intelligent person. But I was also very angry with her. I felt like growing up, and I talk about this in my book, Help Save Me from My Broken Heart, Your Journey to Living and Loving Again. I felt like I loved her, but I was angry with her because I felt like she wasn't emotionally available. right? I wasn't safe with her. I didn't feel like I could tell her the truth about what I was experiencing or how I was experiencing her without her getting upset. Every time I told her, Mommy, I don't like this, or I would write her letters when I was little about how I felt. I would write in my journal and write her letters if I was upset or sad or whatever was going on, mostly when I was expressing my distaste with her. But as I got older and did that, it was like I was irritating or upsetting her with my truth. And as I talked about earlier, I gained this understanding, not just with my mother, but with many other adults, with friends. I realized that when people are told the truth, when someone expresses something to them, people take it personal, people get upset with you. So what I did was I adapted this lifestyle of just being fake. Like I wouldn't say I was being fake, but I wasn't telling the truth. So if I was upset with my mother about something or felt like I, had something I wanted to discuss with her or needed to discuss with her about me, I wouldn't talk to her about it. Or I would keep it very surface. I would never go deep. I would never, well, Mommy, I got to a point where I didn't tell her things like, when you did this, I felt this. It would just be more like we would just be going at it, like just cats and dogs, just arguing and fussing, because it's like I feel like I have to defend myself. So when I began to be enlightened. I started building my relationship with Christ. I started just working on me, right? Then I started to realize that I did not have to have this toxic relationship with my mother because I didn't want that. I deep down inside, I wanted a good, healthy relationship with her. But I did not want I did not want to be in relationship with her if I could not tell the truth. So then we went through this season of learning to be authentic and be real and not like putting on, because we've grown so accustomed to kind of playing the role. I feel like a lot of times in life we act out parts. We're not being our authentic selves, but we take on roles as if we're in theater, as if we're in the play of our lives, right? It's like we take on the role. So it's like if I'm the wife, then there are certain things I'm supposed to be doing. No, that's not authentic. In my relationship with my husband and I, we're at a place where we realize like, okay, what works for us? We don't have to stay stuck to, oh, a woman has to do all the cooking or the cleaning. Like right now, as we speak, I'm doing this and my husband is cooking, right? Because these are things that this is authentic to our relationship. But if I'm trying to fit a mold, if I'm trying to like fit a norm, then I'm not being genuine, right? I'm not being genuine. And so I really want you to think about like, what does authenticity look like for you in your life, right? One of the things that I think about too, when I think about being authentic, it's like really thinking about what role are you playing in your friendships. I was in relationship with a lot of people that I was their friend. They were my friend in that season. But when I started to be honest with myself and to be enlightened, then I had to be more authentic and genuine to me. And being genuine to me meant that I had to disconnect from certain relationships, because who I was or who I became in those environments, who I was acting out in those environments is not who I really am, right? Who I feel like I have to be. So this is a big thing when I think about professionals in the professional environment, especially professionals of color, when we talk about this whole idea of code switching. When you literally take on I guess simply put, it's toning down your blackness to keep the majority comfortable. So when we talk about how to live our best life, we have to learn to be authentic. And when we think about things like code switching, we think about acting, how we say where I grew up, going along just to get along, following the crowd. We have to really look at what, if you're doing it, why are you doing it? And usually it's going to point back to something you need to be honest about. And once you start being honest about it, you can be enlightened. Like if I look at it, if you don't want to be honest about a situation, then you are saying, I'm going to keep everything in the dark. I'm going to keep everything in the dark. If you don't want to be honest about something, you're saying, I'm choosing to be unhealthy and unhappy. I'm choosing to keep my life miserable. Because once you get honest about it, that's what they say, the truth shall set you free. Then you can be enlightened. And once you become enlightened, you can live your authentic life. Because it's exhausting when you're always acting. When a play comes, a play doesn't last forever. Even if a play runs for a certain season, the actors usually get some type of break, or like it may run for 2 weeks in this city and they take some time off and go to another city. And even like when they're filming a movie, right? The actors, you know, when the director says cut, then they can, some of them go out of character, but like the movie doesn't last forever. It's only for a temporary time. But what about you? How long have you been acting in your life? Like, how long have you been going about your life in a way that is not genuine? Are you doing it to please someone? Is there someone that you admire, you made up in your mind that you like how they do what you do, or you look up to what they're doing, and therefore, you know, that's why you're pursuing that? Why are you acting? I want you to think about that. It's time to be authentic. It's time for you to live your best life. And last but not least, when we think about how we can live our best life, I'm gonna let y'all sit and really think about what it means. What areas of your life are you not being genuine in? So we're gonna move on from being authentic, and we're gonna talk about the most powerful part of the healing process is love. Love is an action word, right? Love is, I'll give you I guess the Google definition for love, but an intense feeling of deep affection, great interest and pleasure in something. But I'll go even deeper. God is love. God is love. And so when we think about healing and how we can live our best life, the thing that we have to lead with, I'm finishing with this. It's the last letter in the word, but this is the thing that we have to lead with, and we have to have a foundation of. We have to lead with love. We have to lead with love. We have to lead our lives with love, and not just love for others, a love for God and a love for ourselves. I, myself included, but I work with so many individuals that are constantly putting everybody else before themselves. And that's not love. That's self-sabotage. When you think about love and the fact that God is love, then you take time when you think about loving on yourself. You take time when you think about getting to know who God is. You take time, you invest in and you invest in love. You're going to live your best life. You have to lead with love. There are different types of love, but I'm talking about the agape love, like the love for everybody else. the love for self, but I'm talking about the fact that you have to have a love for yourself that's deeper than anything that you have for anybody else, because that is what you can stand on when you start wanting to love on everybody else, when you start wanting to be there for everybody else. See, one of the things that I had to learn, and I feel like love is very closely associated with respect, right? So one of the things that I had to learn was that if I'm saying I love someone or I love myself, then respect is going to be a part, respect is going to be a byproduct of that love. So if I love you, then I'm going to respect you. If you're going to live your best life, you really have to love yourself. And when I say love yourself, you have to get to the point where your self-talk is positive, where your self-talk is encouraging and uplifting. What is self-talk? The things that you say to yourself on the inside. The talk you're thinking in your mind when you need to get something done, when you're excited about something, when you bump your toe on the corner of the dresser. I can't believe this. Like, I just had this straight up just sinusy thing come at me. But I'm still gonna keep going because we gotta live our best lives, right? Loving yourself. Do you love yourself? I know you might say that you love yourself. I know you have others that you say you love, but do you really? Like, do you really love your husband? Do you really love your wife? Do you really love your kids? I just want to let you know that you can't really love them if you don't really love yourself. It first starts with you. I find it very interesting, and I find it very this is something that transformed my life when I realized that I couldn't love others greater than I was willing to love myself, and I couldn't invest in others greater than I was willing to invest in myself. And I teach people how to treat me. So how I treat myself, how I interact with others is teaching people how to treat me. That's where the respect comes in. So if I'm going to live my best life, I need to love myself and respect myself so that others know to do that as well. Because we cannot control other people. I mean, it's amazing that I always find it's always so amazing when I'm starting the divine heart transplant process and I'm walking my clients through this process, and it always blows my mind the amount of focus that we put on them and what they're doing to me, what they have done to me, what them, they, and we have only control over I and me. We spend so much of our time worrying about them and they, but we only have control over I and me. And this just can't be. If you're gonna live your best life, if you want to live better consistently, you got to heal. You got to be honest. You have to be enlightened. You have to be authentic. And you have to walk in love. You have to do everything through love. Because love will allow you to say no when you need to say no. Love will allow you to say yes when you need to say yes. Love will allow you to walk away when you need to walk away. Love will allow you to roll up your sleeves and do the work when you need to do that. But you have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to heal. So I'm really excited about tonight, and you know that's pretty much what I have. That's my acronym for you for tonight. How are we living our best life? We got to heal. What does it take to live your best life? You got to heal. You got to be honest. You need to be enlightened. You need to be authentic, and you need to walk in love. And you know what? I know that I can say this, but I also know that there are situations that might be going on in your life right now where you're just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can move in this alone. I don't know. Hey, honey. I don't know if I can. I've been trying, I've been working at this, but I'm struggling, right? My family or my loved ones aren't responding to me, and I'm growing and they're not responding to me the way that I need them to. I'm trying to live my best life, but it's like they won't let me be great. I just want to let you know that I have created a course to really support you through this process. Now, I've been doing this work for over 8 years now, but the Hardcubator is very near and dear to me because it is designed to truly guide you through the process of living your best life, right? To learn how to heal. But then it's also not just helping you heal, but helping you heal so that you can authentically transform your life. Because I know that if you're listening to Heal with me, then you're probably someone who has made those investments in yourself. You have probably, tried to, start a business, or, you tried to start some community outreach program, or you've been writing this book. You have this content and you want to write this book, but it just seems like you can't get it off, or you can't get it going, or you can't get it started, or every time you're trying to make shifts in your life and bring about change, and every time you do it, it's like that's not quite what you were looking for. The Hardcubator is a place for you to come in to nurture yourself, to allow the Holy Spirit to nurture you, to come into community where you are guided along your healing journey, and you can do it at your own pace. It's a self-paced course. It's 8 modules. And it is truly designed to take you from stuck to unstoppable. Because one of the biggest things I get at the end of the call, or at the end of speaking, is like, I need help with this. I need help with this, right? And I wanted to figure it out in a way that I could support others, where it could work for your busy schedule, where it could work for your budget, but most of all, work for you. So I'm so excited about the Hardcubator. It's an 8-module course that takes you from stuck to unstoppable. It's a self-paced course, and it is launching officially on September the 1st. And what I'm doing now is early registration. So everyone who registers between now and August the 31st will get half off the price of the course. The course is regularly $997, $997, but you will get it for $497 if you sign up between now and August the 31st. I am so excited about it. I want to get this out to everyone who is ready to authentically transform their lives. If you're ready to heal, if you want to live your best life, if you're tired of feeling depleted, if you're tired of feeling like heavy burden, if you look at your community, you look at your family, you have these dreams and visions, these things that you want to do. You might be somebody that's a baker, or you might be a seamstress, you might be a writer, you might make jewelry, but you have your day job and you have your career, and you're trying to figure out how you can make all of this work. The Hardcubator is for you. If you know that God is calling you to something bigger, and you don't know how to take those steps, when you think about your past and you think about the things that you've been through, it's just holding you back. This is the course for you. So if this is something that you are interested in, you can go to my website, theheartconnections.com, and go to the store, and you can sign up for the Hardcubator there. And I would love, love, love to support you on this process of taking your life from stuck to unstoppable. So I just wanted to let you all know about that. And just thank you for being on the call. Do we have any comments or questions from anyone that is tuning in before we get ready to close out? Any comments or questions? Anything that you'd like to share on the call tonight before we finish? And I'll check for those that are streaming in. What it takes to live your best life. We gotta heal. We gotta heal. We gotta heal. I don't see any comments in our internet world. Do we have any comments on Zoom? Would you like to share anything that came up tonight on the call in our group? All right. Well, I am so thankful for tonight, for Heal With Me. Tonight, just a quick recap. We talked about what does it take to live your best life, right? You have to heal. You have to be honest, enlightened, authentic, and you have to lead with love. And if you want to live your best life, then you heal. If you need help learning how to heal, if you need help walking through this process, make sure that you go to the website, theheartconnections.com, and you can sign up for the Hardcubator so that I can support you as you take this journey of living your best life, as you go from stuck to unstoppable. And we're going to do it together. I'm so thankful to be here with you tonight. I am Adelai Brown, your heart coach. I'm so thankful that I've been able to serve with you. Remember to connect with me on all social media, Instagram and Facebook. I'm at The Heart Connections, on YouTube, The Heart Connections. And I'm just so thankful to be able to connect with you all in these various platforms. I love y'all. Thank you for being here. And please do me a favor, share this every Monday night. Heal With Me is a live support group. If you know somebody that's going through something, somebody that might be struggling with their relationships right now, maybe with their parents, maybe with their children, maybe they're that go-to person who everybody always comes to them, but you're concerned because they don't have anyone to go to. Invite them to Heal With Me. Invite your brothers, invite your sisters, invite your cousins, invite your neighbors. This is an atmosphere and an opportunity for all of us to heal, to grow together, because I truly believe, and I know for a fact, when you heal your heart, you will transform your life. We will be back next Monday night at 8 p.m. Love y'all. Have a great evening.